Hello and welcome. In this video, you will learn how to create DIY framed art from cardstock for your winter decor using a Cricut or Silhouette Cameo cutting machine. The free Snowflake SVG files in this project are available over at heartfilledspaces.com. Click on the blog post in the description below this video to learn more about this project. The Snowflake files and words are available as SVG, DXF, EPS, PNG, and PDF file formats. All 5 Snowflake SVG files are available in my free craft library, along with over 70 other projects. The SVG version of the files can be resized to fit other craft projects as well. Just be careful not to scale them down too small, as the designs are intricate and you may have difficulty getting a clean cut on a small project. Each snowflake has 2 layers to give them a more dimensional appearance. The top layer is a detailed, intricate design, and the bottom layer provides a solid background to offset the white snowflakes. During this tutorial, you will learn how to use transfer tape with cardstock. Using transfer tape will help prevent the intricate designs from tearing and will keep your layout in place. You'll also learn how to prepare a light grip mat to work with cardstock. And lastly, I'll show you how to center your design and mount it for display in a picture frame. Now let's get started by visiting the library and learning how to download the files. To gain access to the library, you would click on the Library tab. Over in the pink box on the side, you'll need to enter your first name and email and click Sign Me Up. At that point, you may need to check the I am not a robot box and click subscribe. Once you do this, you'll receive a confirmation email in your inbox that says send me my password. You'll need to click on that pink button, send me my password, and then after a few moments you'll receive this welcome email. In the welcome email, under number 3, it gives you your actual password. You're going to take that password and you're going to go back to the library page and enter the password into the password box, and then you're going to click enter. In the future, you can just come straight to the library tab and enter your password. So once you're in the library, there's a short video here at the top of the library, like 2 minutes, to teach you how to download files. There's also a table of contents to help you quickly get to any projects that you're interested in doing. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and just choose one of the files here under the Christmas tab. We'll just do this 3D paper snowflake. If you click on that, it's going to give you all of the different file types that are available to you. And if you click on the small icon in the upper right, it's going to show you all the different file extensions. That's helpful because most of you will just be looking for the SVG version of each of the files. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then you get this download box. This is a preview of the file you're about to download. You click that arrow in the upper right corner and it actually downloads it then to your computer. So now we're going to head over and I'm going to show you. So in my downloads folder, here is the file at the very top, and you can sort this by date if you can't find it. Then we're going to go over into Cricut Design Space, and we're going to actually upload that file into the software. So here's the file, we're going to click on it, then we're going to see the file, we're going to click continue, and we're going to click on under recent uploads on the file, and we're going to click to add to canvas. And there the file comes up in Cricut Design Space. So, and then in Silhouette Studio, we're just going to do File Open, and we're going to click on it, and it shows up there on our canvas. So that's how you use the library. When working with a light grip mat, this is a brand new light grip mat you're looking at here, and it is way too sticky for an intricate design cut from cardstock. So the best thing to do is to take it and press it into a low lint fabric, and then you can test it like a piece of cardstock. So you can see here I had to kind of like de-stick it twice on something that had low lint. And now the cardstock is releasing much nicer for you. And then just to show you again, once I've done this, you can see how much more easier the transparent layer removes. We've made our mat less sticky, so we're going to want to put our cardstock on there, roll it with a brayer. And then I use washi tape. This was tape I had for the foil quill tool, just to kind of secure it in place. Then we're going to load our cardstock into our machine and cut the design. So real quick, here we are in Cricut Design Space, and here is how the Snowflake files come into the software. If you want to minimize the files so you can see the whole thing, you can come down here to the bottom left and subtract the percentage, and it will show you the whole file at one time. There's very little we need to do here to go ahead and cut these files, but you can either right-click on the file and choose On Group, or you can come over here to the Layers panel and choose the On Group option here. And once the files are ungrouped, you can see you can select them individually. And what we want to do is to maintain the positioning of these files while we're creating the project is we want to highlight them together with the words, and then we want to attach them. So we would go ahead and do that for each one of these. At this point, we're going to choose Make It up in the upper right hand corner, and then you're going to come over here and you'll see each of your snowflakes with the words sorted on an individual mat. And so you can see this is pretty much ready. We're going to choose Continue. Then we're going to select our material as cardstock for intricate cuts. I'm going to increase the pressure to more, and this is where we'll load our first mat in, and we want to choose the fine point blade, and this is the first one we are cutting. Then we'll go ahead and cut it, we'll remove it, and then we'll move on to our next design. If you are working in Silhouette Studio, when you bring the file in, it's going to look something like this. If you are working on a Mac, you can do Command minus. If you are on a PC, I believe it's Control minus to zoom out so that you can see the whole file. There's really nothing to do here other than dragging these files on and off of your canvas as you cut. So we're going to go over to the Send menu. And once we are here, you can see your first file is on the Send menu. We could just work under the Simple Cut section, and then we are working in Carriage 1. I'm using 65-pound cardstock to cut these out, and so I have a custom setting that I set up for that. I'll show you that really quick. If we go over to the material and we scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see that I have these custom cut settings set up. If you don't have these, you can choose this blue Add New Material, and I will show you the settings. For the cut setting for 65-pound cardstock, I use a blade depth of 6, a force of 25, 1 pass, the speed of 5, and I have line segment overcut turned on. If you click on that, you can see that I have it set at 0.50 for the start and the end. And then you can click Save if you're making a new setting for yourself. You could see we have 65-pound cardstock set up. You can see that we're using the auto blade. If you are using a ratchet blade or an older machine, you will need to manually change your blade depth, but because I'm using an auto blade, it will automatically change for me. At this point, I would load my 65-pound cardstock on my mat, and I would load it in my machine, and I would choose Send down here at the bottom. Once you're done cutting the file, I would go back to the Design menu, and then I would select everything on that canvas. I would drag it off of the canvas. Then I would highlight the next file, drag it onto the canvas, and you can click this little Center to Page icon up at the top, and it'll put that right in the middle of your canvas. And then we would just go back to the Send menu, and our settings are already there for 65-pound cardstock. So we would just load our cardstock on a light grip mat, load that into our machine, and then we would go down and hit Send. And we would repeat that process for all 5 of the snowflakes and then all 5 of the backgrounds. Once the design is cut, we're going to go ahead and lift the extra cardstock off of the mat, and then we're going to take a craft knife to remove all the extra little bits and pieces from the design. Now we're going to take a piece of transfer tape that's cut to the same size as our design and peel the backing from it. And again, we're going to press this transfer tape twice on a low lint fabric just to reduce the tackiness on the tape. Then we can put the tape over our design and use a brayer and press it into the design. And then we're going to flip the mat over and begin to roll the mat back off our design. And I'm working with a scraper tool just to kind of help the process along a little bit. It does take a little bit of time to do this, but I do find it helpful when it comes time to place the design on our final project. It keeps everything lined up and also helps prevent the design from tearing as you're removing it from the mat. Once the design is completely on our transfer tape, I'm going to go ahead and cut the 2 snowflakes apart. I worked 2 snowflakes at a time because I was working with 12 by 12 cardstock. Next, we're going to add our darker colored or background color cardstock to a mat, and then we're going to go ahead and secure it in place again with washi tape. Once we're done with that, we're going to load it into our cutting machine and hit go. When it's completed cutting, we're going to go ahead and unload it from the machine. Then we're going to repeat again. We're going to remove all the extra cardstock from the mat and any extra little bits that need to be removed. Next, I'm going to take a glue stick because it dries clear, and I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to this background layer of the snowflake. Then I'm going to take my top layer of the snowflake with the transfer tape, and I'm going to press it into place and use my hook tool to just make sure everything is lined up nicely before I permanently press it down with a brayer. Then I'm going to add a little glue to the word, and I'm going to kind of smear it around with my finger so it doesn't ooze out, and use the transfer tape to transfer the word as well. Once both of the snowflakes have been transferred, I'm going to use my weeding tools to remove the snowflakes from the mat. If you choose to work on your mat surface with your adhesive, at the end of the project, you'll want to clean your mat and let it air dry. In order to frame your artwork, you're going to want to cut matching cardstock down to 8.5 by 11. Then you're going to want to use an 11 by 14 mat with an 8 by 10 opening for an 11 by 14 size frame. These are the materials I used for my project. Next, I'm going to set my snowflake and the words on my background cardstock, and I'm going to take measurements around to try to find the center of the background piece of cardstock. Once I've done that, I'm going to take my cutout, my background from my black cutout, and just make sure the distance between the word and the snowflake are lined up with this background template. Then I'm going to make pencil marks all the way around so that I know where to position the snowflake once the adhesive has been added. Next, I'm going to take my precision craft glue and fill in the back of the snowflake. And then I'm going to press it once gently on a scrap piece of paper just so that the glue is not too thick. And then I'm going to line it up with my pencil marks, and I'm going to gently set it into place. Then I'm going to take my brayer and I'm going to go over it just to press it firmly down to the back of the mount. Next, I'm going to repeat that process with the words using my precision craft glue. Then I'm going to flip the word over with my tweezers and just take the excess glue off, line it up, and then again press it into place and go over it with my brayer. At this point, I'm going to place my framing mat over the image. I'm going to flip it over and press a piece of washi tape just to hold it into place, and then check the center in my framing mat. And you can see here it wasn't quite right, so I redid it. And then once the distance looks good around the perimeter, I'm going to erase the pencil marks that might have been left from the previous step, and then I'm going to flip the whole project over. Now I'm going to press my washi tape in a little harder and then flip it open and add. I'm using adhesive to mount it in the mat, but you can use tape if you prefer to change the project out later. Press it into place and then flip it over, and you can see it's nice and centered. Then I'm going to take my 11 by 14 frame, and I'm going to go ahead and flip the frame over and remove the back from the frame, and then take out all of the inside things. For my project, I chose to remove the glass and put it behind the project because I like the flat look of the artwork. So I put my artwork in the frame, and then I put everything back in, and I put the glass in. It's hidden, and I add the back onto the frame and secure it into place. And so there you see it. The project is all done, and it's framed and mounted and ready to display in my room. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you'd like to find more creative projects like this one, you can visit heartfilledspaces.com. And please like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see if I can continue to put more helpful videos out there for you.